YouTubers and fellow Transformers fans. I've long since said that there would be some point in time here where I'd get together a conglomeration of all the Shockwaves that I have and kind of show you guys what's out there as far as the Shockwave figure is concerned. So without ado, here we go. I hope you guys enjoy it. This is another collection of Shockwaves that I currently have. We'll start out with the Shockwave that everybody knows, which is common to everybody, which is the Generation 1 Shockwave, which we all loved and dreamed about as a kid. Truly just an amazing figure. As you see in the background here, what I have are two pre-Transformers versions of Shockwave. He was originally made by the company Toyco, and the original Japanese versions of him were made in Japan. The Transformers version was made in Korea, I believe. I think it says on top of the battery cover, actually. Yeah, made in Korea, but the actual Astro Magnums were made in Japan. Let me go ahead and take one of them out of the box here. As you can see here, the pre-Transformers version is gray plastic versus the purple plastic. Let me go ahead and put him into robot mode here for you. This guy is absolutely mint. I picked him up quite a while ago on eBay. He doesn't have the common broken hips, but he's a pain to transform because he's so tight. I'll put him into robot mode here and show you a couple things about him. Give me a second. Let me flip his feet around here. Pardon the delay. I'll put some elevator music on or something. Okay. Here we go. Here's the Astro Magnum. As you can see, of course, he suffers a little bit from the dreaded short leg syndrome. One of the things you can see about the pre-Transformers version was the red eye. The decals here said Astro Magnum. His trigger was different, which was kind of funny because in robot mode it's kind of a little anatomically correct, which is something that people have mentioned to me before. His rangefinder is a different color. It's got like a blue tint. I don't think you can actually see it here on the video here. And if you look on his battery cover, right where there's his battery energy, it says made in Japan. That was something that was unique to the Astro Magnum. One thing, there was a lot of knockoffs of him made over the years, and I mean a lot. I'm probably going to show you like 5 different versions of the knockoff here on this review. One way you can always tell a real Shockwave is the stamp on the inner leg. As you can see right there, it says Toyco. That's the way to spot a real Shockwave, a real Toyco one, or what I'm about to show you guys next, which back in the 80s, Radio Shack had produced a Shockwave known as Galactic Man. And as you see here, let me pull him off. There he is. This toy was the cleanest Galactic Man I could find when I was in the hunt for him, and I don't really think I've seen one that's much cleaner. Look at the price tag, $14.95. Sometimes when you walk into a Radio Shack, you still can't help but think, God, is there some old stock somewhere I could come up with? Check this out. This is a really, really neat thing. This guy came with a little treasure when I bought him. He still has the cardboard insert that covered the figure up himself. He's got his little Radio Shack Galactic Man manual, but also he has his original receipt. He was purchased in Kentucky at a Radio Shack in 1985 for $7.84. How much would you like to walk into a store and find that kind of a ridiculous price nowadays? It's just a neat piece to have with him, was the original receipt. And here's the figure himself. A lot of people see the Galactic Man and they think he's a knockoff. Galactic Man was not a knockoff. The inner leg stamp was there. It was Toyco. It was officially licensed. And let me show you guys something about this toy here. Maybe pull them out of the foam so you can take a closer look at them. Same thing is your pre-Transformers Astro Magnum, pretty much. He's got the same style trigger, and he's got the red eye. Plastics, I think, are pretty much the same color. This was an official toy, so if you see one, it's on eBay, it's not a knockoff, this thing is the real deal. They were a really neat toy. It's just too bad that, you know, most people associate Radio Shack in the 80s with knockoffs and, you know, kind of that Tandy electronics and, you know, stuff like that. But this toy was the real deal. As you can see, I don't know if his rangefinder is any different. He was made in Korea, so he was probably a Transformers era toy. His rangefinder has no tint. It's actually clear. If you look on the back, it doesn't. It just says Sound A and Sound B. I don't think his sounds were any different than the Transformers version. I think it was the same. I think only the knockoffs really had a different sound to them. So there's your Galactic Man. He has no stickers applied or anything like that. But like I said, a lot of people think Galactic Man's a knockoff. He is not a knockoff. Trust me. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you look in the picture here, and there's the stamp right there, Toyco. He is the real deal, so don't diss Galactic Man. He's got more going for him than most people know. Okay, as we move on here, I will pile these up, and we will move on to just another Astro Magnum here. This was just a different version of him. Actually, just a different box. Actually, the toy was pretty much the same. But as you can see, one thing also about the Astro Magnum actually is, I just noticed this right now. Yes, I did. These are both real Astro Magnums. Let me show you something. Actually, you know what? I've never had two of them out at the same time. And now that we're here doing this, I noticed something. The tint on the chest is pinkish. The gun barrel is pinkish and the fist is pink. I never noticed that before, and if you look on the other version here, his plastics were clear, and I think his rangefinder had a little bit of a blue tint to it. So, yeah, you learn something new every day. There are two different tint variants on the chest, hands, and gun barrel. So, now, I'm going to move on to something just blatantly bold. I love this. Back in the 80s, the KO makers were worlds better than the crap we have nowadays. They seem to take a little more pride in what they did, and they tried to really make the toy as close as possible. This box here is labeled Astro Magnum 4 changeable. You know, he's got the IC2 sound symbol. I mean, if you were a parent buying this for your kid back in the day, you couldn't tell the difference. I mean, they wouldn't know. One thing you can see right here, made in Taiwan. And I will open up his box here for you, and you can see this figure here. This figure is very interesting. Let me get him standing here real quick, so you guys can see something, because this version here is very unique in the fact that, actually, let me roll his feet over. And give me a second here. Okay, this was not an official toy. It doesn't have the stamp on the inner leg, but what this toy does have, which is not very known, is this one has an 8-way selectable sound. Notice the 8 positions there. The sounds are really cheesy. I don't know if you guys want to hear them or not. If you do, let me know, and I'll do another review, and I'll just show his sounds. But this was the one that had the 8-position switch on the back of him. As you can see, he's got a blood red chest, blood red fist, and gun. Same red eye. His labeling was a little bit different. But I mean, you're talking the KOs of the 80s. This thing was pretty close. I mean, no way a parent's gonna know the difference on this guy. So if I was a kid back in the 80s and I got this under my Christmas tree, trust me, I would be the last one complaining about it, being I never had a Shockwave to begin with. So as we move on here, I'm going to get into some of the really